Good morning. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being there with us today. And welcome to the birth of this new Secpho. A new Secpho that after 12 years broadens its focus from photonics, from a photonics cluster to deep tech, incorporating technological areas such as artificial intelligence, robotics and drones, microelectronics, advanced materials, quantum, biotechnology, or blockchain. Some disciplines where our ecosystem in the last 3, 4, 5 years have been growing and growing and learning very much and developing new skills, new capabilities. It's a new sector that is open to investors, end users, and a new relationship with the public administration, promoting an ecosystem that connects technology with capital from the lab to the market. And it's a new sector that is better connected to the media and to the funding opportunities that the new next generation EU programs will bring, especially to Spain. Finally, it's a new sector that from April on will also be a virtual ecosystem connecting the entire ecosystem in the cloud to boost collaboration opportunities through a virtual platform and reach further without leaving the screen. Well, I expect that you enjoy very much this new transformation that we are living and that we have been preparing along the last 18 months, more or less. This event of presentation will be held in collaboration with Hello Tomorrow and the deep tech community. I expect that all of you enjoy this presentation. First of all, we will have an overview about the Spanish and international deep tech ecosystem. We will have Sara Pedroza, COO at Hello Tomorrow, who will make this overview. And after Sara, we will have Eden Janashvili, founder of the Spanish deep tech community. Thank you, Sara and Eden, for being here with us today in this special day for us. And finally, we will have the entire presentation of the new Secpho. Sabine Runge, she's the innovation manager at Secpho, and she will explain in detail all the changes that we are developing. Then that's all from my part. Thank you very much. We are open to stay connected with all of you. And thank you. And now, Sara Pedroza, COO at Hello Tomorrow, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sergio. I'm really happy to be here. I'm going to share my screen as well. Okay. So I think, yes, thanks a lot. So here we go. Okay, so I don't have that much time, so I hope that you won't be disappointed by the international outlook, because I will mainly be doing a teaser of everything that could be said. But thank you so much for having me. And I think this transformation of Secpho is definitely the right direction to take, and we're totally aligned at Hello Tomorrow with what you're doing. So let's take just a very short journey to the past, when Hello Tomorrow was created 10 years ago by Xavier Duportet and Arnaud Delatour. The startup at that time were mostly about digital. So it was digital platform, mobile apps, and the way to succeed was mainly to create new marketplace. And so, of course, it's still a very big thing now, but clearly at this time, it was mostly about that. And so at Hello Tomorrow, what we wanted to do is to put the light on startups that were bringing breakthrough science and technology from the lab to the market. And we kind of saw this huge potential in the lab and the poor opportunities that were coming for the science entrepreneurs and the deep tech entrepreneurs to make it a reality and a concrete solution. So from all the crazy things that were being invented, very few were actually going to have a real impact. and it was clearly in a very long time frame. So the initial idea with Hello Tomorrow was to identify and promote the successful deep tech entrepreneurs and science entrepreneurs to inspire the next generation, but also to bring them the right resources to succeed. And so since 2011, when it was created, the context has changed a lot. So if we look at this number, for instance, it speaks for itself. This is based on a study we've been doing with the Boston Consulting Group that I will talk about after that. But basically, investment in deep tech in the last 5 years has approximately increased fourfold. So going from $15 billion in 2016, more or less, to more than 60 billion in 2020. And if we look at the startup competition that we organize every year, so it's a deep tech startup competition. When we look at, so 5 years ago, we had around 1,500 applicants. And in the last edition, we had 5,000 applicants. So 5,000 deep tech startups applying to our competition only and coming from 128 countries. And another data that is absolutely not an academic one, but that I like, now we can see that even Elon Musk trend index is getting higher compared to Mark Zuckerberg. So when we've said that, we haven't said what is deep tech about, right? Because initially, at Hello Tomorrow, when we did our first report with BCG, From Tech to Deep Tech, it was in 2017, we had in mind that deep tech was a kind of set of new emerging technologies with high potential. But what I would like to say now is that, of course, it starts with emerging technologies. So basically the technologies that have already concrete application, but which still need some significant R&D to reach their full potential. So we can mention artificial intelligence, synthetic biology, nanotechnologies, quantum computing, among many other advanced technologies. But it's not only about that. What we've been doing basically in this report, so the Great Wave of Innovation with the Boston Consulting Group, is describing deep tech as a phenomenon that is that we could call a fourth wave of innovation. So a kind of new space of opportunities that is opening up, and a new approach, and that's quite important, required to grasp those opportunities. So we've been analyzing this wave, this fourth wave of innovation, and we've been focusing on 4 key drivers. So I won't go into the details, really sorry about that, but you can definitely download the report in our website. So these are the 4 drivers that we've been going into depth, so to analyze these big trends. And I will maybe just give you some illustration for 2 of them. So when we say emerging technologies are redefining and creating new opportunities, so here it's kind of obvious when you consider that now you can analyze huge amount of data thanks to AI. You can cultivate meat in labs thanks to biotech. Maybe soon we'll be able to do some calculation which would today take centuries. And with quantum computing, maybe it will require only a few seconds. We're seeing that these technologies hold a great potential. That's just obvious. But what's, I think, more interesting is the role that startups are playing in this revolution, because they are kind of tackling topics where we would not expect them. So I like the example of the nuclear fusion. We could also talk about spaceships, but let's talk about nuclear fusion. In 2006, a consortium of 35 countries came together with the funding of more than $20 billion to build the biggest nuclear fusion reactor in 30 years. Today, there is a startup that has been funded in 2018 in Boston that is called Commonwealth Fusion Systems. And basically, they have raised $200 million to produce net energy through nuclear fusion by 2025. So it is definitely a striking picture. On the one side, you have a consortium of 35 states, a budget of $20 billion, a 30 years time frame. And on the other side, you have a startup with $200 million and a 7 years time frame to build a compact reactor on the other side. So that shows what is really important in this revolution is the central role and the velocity somehow of the startups. And I will skip the third point. You can look at what we say in the report, but the fourth one I think is important and very aligned with the topic of today is basically the role of the ecosystems. So deep tech is even more about ecosystems that would comprise many stakeholders, because winning this innovation race is not anymore about being at the top of your game internally or being at the top of your game with a certain technology. Now it's being the best as engaging an ecosystem. And so from research to the end user, basically a successful deep tech ecosystem will comprise many different actors. And I'm sure you're very familiar with this, but still the universities and research centers to create the technologies and the talents, the startups and the large corporation to transform those technologies into commercial applications. And of course, the customers that are mostly in deep tech, B2B companies actually, are key in the process, as well as the investors and the government. And so I think this is what I would say inspired Hello Tomorrow the most when we had to make this organization evolve, is basically to transform ourselves into an organization that will support the deep tech ecosystem as an orchestrator at the global level. Because we kind of strongly believe that if you want, basically this radical innovation can tackle the biggest challenge that we have for the 21st century. And we need to drastically change the way we eat, the way we power, the way we grow our society. And what we're seeing, and we're very optimistic about it, is that when we take as a sample the startup applying to our competition, the Hello Tomorrow Global Challenge, we see that 98% of them are tackling at least one sustainable development goal set by the United Nations. And of course, we've been talking about Moderna a lot in the healthcare sector, so I'm not sure I will be talking about the vaccine, but of course, healthcare applications, new affordable and clean energy, new ways of producing, new ways to tackle climate change, and of course, also responsible consumption and many other applications that can help us in the radical way to answer key challenges of this century. And so the role that we have on our side to make it happen is kind of simple. On the one side, we are identifying constantly solutions that are using deep tech. So we're doing crazy efforts to identify the most promising startups worldwide. We develop partnership with hundreds of universities, with accelerators. We run deep tech competitions, such as the one that I mentioned. We also have tailor-made competitions for large corporations. So that's on the one side. On the other side, we're gathering everyone during events. We have online events, physical events, and this is a way for us to make sure the deep tech solution meet the right resources to kind of grow and rise. And we also have programs to help companies and government engage with this ecosystem, because very few of them have the capacity to do it internally. And mainly because these ecosystems are highly fragmented. They are international and they are in constant transformation. So has today's leader understood that the digital revolution was something to catch upon early enough? Tomorrow's leader will definitely be the one who understood the deep tech revolution that is happening now. And so maybe just save the date for you. We'll be having our annual flagship event where we gather at the global level across many sectors, what we call the deep tech ecosystem. So of course, it's not homogeneous. When we talk about this, we're talking about healthcare, transportation, the space industry, the energy industry. So it's kind of very vast, and we'll be showcasing the pioneers that are bringing solutions in more than 10 sectors. And we also have all year long online events, because of course we kind of had to animate this community all year long. And for this, we have memberships to kind of follow these deep tech trends and the business best practices. So I won't take much time. I really hope that you will have a look at the report that we've been doing that I couldn't go into depth with. And thank you so much for having me. You can reach out to me as much as you want, and I would be happy to discuss further. Thanks a lot. And I think we have Eden now talking about the Spanish deep tech ecosystem.
Thanks a lot, Sarah, for your presentation. We're really happy about the collaboration with Hello Tomorrow. And now we pass the word to Eden, who is the founder of the deep tech community in Spain. And we are really happy to have you here with us as well today, Eden. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Sabine, and thank you, Sarah. First of all, thank you, Secpho, and all the team for inviting me. As you said, I'm actually a part of being the founder of the deep tech community in Spain. I'm also representing Hello Tomorrow in Spain, and building all these, bringing all these ecosystem and connections to Spain. So as a first thing, I believe now you can see my screen. So basically the idea today is to show you what are the challenges that key players in the Spanish ecosystem are facing in order to build all the deep tech ecosystem. So we have been done many interviews to all these different players, and we gather a lot of data that they shared with us. And here I just would like to pinpoint general and give you a general overview about the challenges that each one of them are facing, in order to show you that to build a deep tech ecosystem, it requires a connection among all the different players within the ecosystem. And this is what Sarah in her previous presentation showed you, that it really takes an ecosystem to build a deep tech community. So first, we starting with we talk with the many entrepreneurs and also researchers, mostly in the scientific side. And basically, what the main thing that they were looking at was to have support because they wanted to get out of the research side in academia, and they were looking to find different alternatives in order to bring out their ideas and their research. So basically, one of the key things that they were telling us is that they, from one side, they were lacking on all the knowledge to start a company, but on the other side, they were missing this emotional support that it requires in order to build your business during all the creation process that it takes. So basically, all the business side, all the legal side, what steps should I take from now on? What should I do now? Okay, if I have this technology, how should I knock out of the doors of investors? And all this process that requires in order to take and start creating your business. So basically, one is find alternatives out of academia and get this emotional support and knowledge along all the business creation process. So this is something that was very interesting, because afterwards we went to the universities and the year-and-year centers. And what they actually told us is that there is this big group of human capital in the universities and the research centers, that they were building technologies based on their research. So from one side is extremely good because there is this motivation that is behind, but from the other side, what they were lacking is to understand how these innovations can be applied in the market. And if there is really a need in the market for this technology, and if there is one, how can they really adapt all this to what a business actually needs, or what corporates, or what your potential customers may need? And this is something that really complement each other, because from one side you have all these innovations that is created, but from the other side there is this missing of understanding how the market is and what the market needs in order to adapt both sides and make this collaboration and have this first initial touch with the market to understand, okay, is this something that you need? Is this something that we should modify? And if we have to modify it, how should we do it? So really understand all this side. But additionally, in the universities and the R&D centers, what we saw is that they are looking for connections from one side, but also to understand the application of technologies, and building and changing this mindset of not only building incremental technologies, but also building exponential innovations. And this is something that goes up as well, links as well with what I meant and said before, that they are afraid of taking this first step because they lack this emotional support of building all this business process, from the initial steps to the process of building it and until getting a more sustainable company. Okay, so now that we know what entrepreneurs are looking at, what were the main challenges in the universities and R&D centers, what about organizations? What about SMEs and corporates? So just for you to understand that when you try to build innovations, you build it for a customer. And most of, it doesn't mean that most of these customers are B2B companies, business to business, but most of them are, especially in this type of innovations, because you're building like radical innovations that most of the customers are companies that needs to do a roadmap of their product or their strategic side in the company to be to go along with how the market evolves. So basically, when you approach to companies, you need to think that what they are looking for is to build new business model to stay competitive in the market or in their market. And most of the thing is that founders or the managers who are in the companies don't have enough time to be updated every time, every day on the innovations that are in the market, that are built in universities and in the research centers. So they are more in the operative side of their business. So basically what they are looking at is to find new business models. And is what Sarah mentioned before, is about changing radically an industry or building these exponential innovations that will help them achieve new business models to target different types of customers. And in that sense, this is what they are looking at. And we saw that this lack of time to understand how market evolve and be always updated about the innovation development is what makes them be more interested and have this first contact with all the deep technologies that are out there. The thing is, on on the drawback of this, we can see that working, especially with corporates, working with startups, they are missing this agile collaboration with a startup or a company that is it is in its initial phases, that works differently. Everything is fast, everything is everyone does a bit of everything to help grow the company. So there is this collaboration between corporates who are more bureaucratic and have a more structured organization inside, versus a startup that he's innovating in a specific topic and needs to be more flexible within this collaboration. So this is one. Additionally, this is one of the things that we saw that corporates are facing, and is a big challenge for them. But hopefully, with time, we are working on that to change that and build this agile collaboration structure. So going to the investor side, what we saw in Spain especially is that they are more risk averse, which means that they are facing this challenge of funding innovations who are in their initial phases, but also in the industrialization stages, because they want to have this first proof that innovation works. But this first proof needs to be developed first, and this development phase needs funding. So this is the drawback in the investor side. So here, the thing is, they need also to understand how these technologies work and where can they be applied in the market, and for which specific or concrete problem they can be solved. So this is the side for investors. And one of the things that appeared when we were talking with investors is that they had indicators like KPIs, key performance indicators, that needed to be adapted more to deep tech startups, which means in the quantitative side, but also in the qualitative side, because it's not all about numbers, but it's also about how good is your technology. And this is one of the things that we also raised among investors, this adaptation of their indications to analyze startups, and if it's best for them to invest in this startup rather than in the other one. And last but not least, it comes the public institutions. This is well, this is a very interesting subject, because when we talk with the public institutions here, we realized, after talking with all these players, we realized that they are a very important player within all this ecosystem, because usually deep tech innovations take time to be developed, usually, and they require not only support, emotional support or funding support, but also they require to have this culture, this ecosystem that is built all around them to be able to create their companies. And that means that public institutions should provide deep tech startups with this capital access, this first capital access, and they should provide support, constant support to universities and R&D centers. They should incentivize not only the startups and universities, but also corporates and investors in fiscal incentives, for instance, to be able to attract more investments and make this ecosystem be more easy to be involved in and easy to invest in. And on the other side, and this is something important, they should start providing more visibility and more exposure to this type of innovations, because one of the important thing is that you need to educate people on science, and you need to educate people on advanced technologies like what Sarah mentioned before. We have quantum computing, we have artificial intelligence, we have biotechnology that can be applied in many things, Moderna, as you said, Sarah. And this is something that many people talk about, but they don't really understand, or they don't really know how it can be applied to. So I think this is like the basis of everything, that there must be more education regarding these new technologies in order to build this ecosystem. So just to bring a sum up of what I said, if we want to build deep tech ecosystem here in Spain, we need to provide more visibility and more exposure to these type of innovations. We need to provide more resources and capital access to these innovations. And especially what we need to do is provide more education in one way, the scientific and technology side, but also in understanding how market evolves and providing this business side of education to our scientifics. If we want really to build a sustainable economy, we need to think in the long term. And if we want to think in the longer term with results, with positive results, we have to invest in this long term. And where everything is going, and where we are seeing actually now with Elon Musk, as you said, Sarah, and many other big corporates like John Bezos as well, they are starting to invest in all these innovations. So if we want the survival of our economy to be sustainable in the long term, we must start to invest in all the deep tech ecosystem. And thank you very much. You also can contact me through this email, or ask Sabine and Sergio my contact details. And thank you for being present, for having me here. I hope I was able to provide you like main aspects of the Spanish ecosystem and what it will require to build this ecosystem in Spain. So thank you to Secpho, and thank you to all the participants here, and to Sarah.
Thanks a lot, Eden, for your presentation. I'm, as I said before, I'm really happy to have you both with us today, Sarah and Eden. And I think it was great that, to have your insights from, and it really shows the need of boosting that deep tech ecosystem. I'd like to go over to our presentation now. So let me share my screen. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sabine Runge. As Sergio mentioned earlier, I'm the innovation manager of Secpho. And it's a really big pleasure for me today to present you the new Secpho. As Sergio explained earlier as well, over this more than a year, we have been renovating and turning Secpho and the whole identity of Secpho upside down. And we didn't only release a new website, but also really changed the whole strategy of Secpho. And today we'd like to explain you all about our transformation. So we're really happy to have you all with us today, and especially to see so many of our international partners. Like I see partners from Spain, France, from my home country, Germany, from Poland, from Italy, from Israel, and I think I might have left out some other countries as well. So I'm really happy to have you all with us here today, and looking forward to further collaboration with all of you. Yes, so I'm gonna explain you all about Secpho being a deep tech cluster, about us connecting people, about transforming the present, and also explain you a little bit about our future events, our activities. And as a surprise, there will be also a little preview, a sneak peek for our new virtual collaboration platform called secpholand. Yeah, so first of all, I wanted to explain you so I'm really here talking to you in the name of the whole team, right? And there's not only Sergio and me, there's also Rosa, Carla, Gavel, Brendan, Elisenda, Alex, Ivan, Guillermo, some of our interns as well. The team has been growing a lot over the past month, and the whole team is really a team of dreamers, right? We are a team of dreamers, of technologists and humanists, non-conformists and optimists. And for us, it's all about being passionate and motivated to accelerate this innovation ecosystem, and in order to help all the people behind the deep technologies to connect with each other, right, and to help this ecosystem grow. So what else are we? We are innovation. We are a technological innovation, and as we could see already in the presentations from Eden and from Sarah, it's not so much about creating a mobile app. It's about deep tech innovation, right? And as Sarah has explained already, these technologies are based on substantial scientific advances and high tech engineering innovation. So I like to skip these pillars because we've already heard it from in the previous presentations. But I'd like to take up again that point that over the past 11, 12 years, Secpho has been a specialized photonics cluster. But over the past 4 years, we have seen that more and more of our members are actually developing and converging other deep technologies, right? Such as artificial intelligence, quantum computing, advanced materials, microelectronics, robotics and drones, biotech, and blockchain. So we really saw on one hand, so is our mission to open up our scope to deep tech, but on the other hand as well, a big potential in order to help all these niche technologies get more visibility and come to light, right? So this is really what one of our main missions in this transformation process. What else are we? We are 157. 157 stands for 157 member entities. So we have member entities, startups, SMEs, large companies. We have the first investors among our members. We have big R&D and technology centers all over Spain that are part of our ecosystem. And yeah, I invite you to have a look on our members at our members section on our website to explore our dynamic ecosystem. And to give you some key numbers about our ecosystem, there are 680 experts in deep tech. So behind these 157 entities, there are 680 experts working on these technologies. 165 patents are registered per year, and there are around 2,695 scientific publications per year. The annual turnover is around 1.155 million euros, and there are 9,470 employees in our ecosystem, and the average export rate of our ecosystem, of our members, is 45.2. So what else are we? We are gold. Recently we have been awarded with the gold label, which is a cluster management excellence gold label, and we're really proud to have achieved this and to be one of the roughly 50 clusters in Europe who have received this this award. It's a real honor for us, and as we have been working very hard through all these years to to work in an excellent way, to always overcome ourselves, right? And one of the things that was specifically kind of recognized by the auditors was our connection to the industry, as we have been working with 30 industrial sectors all over in our economy, and that's really something that that they mentioned as a very positive thing for our cluster. So what else? For Secpho, our main activity is really about connecting, right? So we want to connect people because we're convinced, and I mean, not only convinced, it's a fact, right? That innovations are not done by people. Innovations are done, innovations are not done by technologies. They are done by people. It's not only about the companies, it's really about the people behind developing these technologies, the people behind funding these technologies and moving this forward, right? So this is really important for us. And the new Secpho is really focusing on all the different key players in the deep tech ecosystem. So we have specific targets for researchers, startups, target programs, for researchers, startups, technological companies, end users, corporates, investors, public administration, and clusters. These programs look like that. So for researchers, we really want to help them turn the knowledge into solutions and to connect the capabilities and capacities of the research talent in Spain with the challenges of our society, and to promote applied research, right? And for us, it's about open innovation models. We want to connect the scientists and with companies and with the industries. For the technological companies, we really want to help to multiply the opportunities to improve the performance of the companies, to continuously generate business opportunities and help creating collaborative innovation projects with other end users, with other technological partners, with researchers, and so on. On the other hand, we want to help boost the growth of startups, right? And to really offering them like a close companionship in order to connect with markets, in order to get visibility and to position themselves in the deep tech ecosystem, and to attract capital and public and private capital, right? On the other hand, we also target end users and corporates, as we have been collaborating with them already for a couple of years. We want to help corporates to accelerate the innovation and to really accelerate the innovation process inside their company, and to connect them with an ecosystem of our startups, of our SMEs, of our researchers, all experts in advanced technologies, and propose disruptive solutions to their technological challenges. For the investors, our aim is to provide them with quality deal flow. So we're not only addressing investors that are specialized in deep tech, but as Eden also mentioned, for us it's also about educating. So we really want to educate and raise awareness among the investment system here in Spain about deep tech, and train them about the state-of-the-art technologies, about practical use cases of investment in deep tech. And like that, we want to try and help close the gap between startups, between researchers and private investment. And yes, help also connecting in between the investors, not only here in Spain, but also with international investors, and help like that the Spanish deep tech ecosystem to grow. And last but not least, we are also targeting public administration and clusters. Well, instead of targeting, I would just rather say we continue collaborating with public administration and clusters, because for us, that's really one of the key points as well. We have been collaborating with other technological clusters for so many years, with other clusters of end users for potential applications of these technologies, right? And it's really, for us, it has been always a very, very important part of Secpho to foster the cross-sectorial collaboration and to connect the value chains, and also to help find and get this European funding and also national and regional funding to our members in order to accelerate their innovation processes. And last but not least, we also have the Open Innovation Club that was launched in 2018 on this beautiful catamaran, as you can see, and hopefully we will be able to have some events in person, some exclusive events for our Open Innovation Club again in future, that is addressed to executives from large companies, from corporates in Spain, but also outside of Spain, who want to be close to the latest innovations in Spain, right? And I think it's a win-win opportunity. So we really give them the chance on one hand to stay up to date and to be close to all this fresh and innovative talent on one side, but also to share their experiences and to inspire the research and entrepreneurial talent that is like on the way to success, right? And I think this is one of the connections that definitely is needed in our ecosystem as well. So you might ask, how will we do all this, right? I'd like to explain you a little bit more about our formula. So on one hand, we really want to provide more visibility. Another thing that Eden mentioned in her presentation, if we want to have a sustainable ecosystem, we need to give visibility and we need to help these niche technologies come to light. So this is really one of the also news about Secpho, that the new Secpho is more connected to the press. And we have been working with an innovation press agency in Spain already over the past year. And we are also connecting to the international press and really want to help to spread the word, to give visibility, to position the technologies of our members from the ecosystem. And on the other hand, as we already mentioned earlier, for us, it's key to connect with the industry. That's really one of the basic pillars for Secpho's essence, let's say. So as mentioned, we are working with 30 industrial sectors of our economy, and we are continuously sharing technological challenges with our members, organizing innovation workshops. If we can, we visit the companies and their factories and their facilities, right? It's really about connecting the technological challenges with potential disruptive solutions from our ecosystem, and also to help fostering and bringing different solutions between our members together in order to answer these challenges, because they are very complex and they might not be solved with only one solution, but we need to partner up and want to help our members to get to know each other as well. So here are some examples of the key players that we have worked with in the past, and there are many more, and we hope there will be many more in future as well. Yes. So on the other hand, we facilitate access to funding, and that means that Secpho is really we are really connected to the Spanish Ministry of Industry, and that on one hand, but also constantly always scanning the opportunities coming from the EU funds as well. So we are also very connected to the Next Generation EU, and our aim is really to find public funding opportunities for our members, and also to partner up with our international partners in order to help these innovation projects to grow. And as I just mentioned, projects, we generate projects. This is another key for Secpho. We want to help our members to connect between each other, to connect with the industry, to connect with end users, and to generate in collaborative projects together. This might be even more important for us than helping our companies to commercialize their products, to go to market, because for us collaboration is really the key. And how do we do that? So on one hand, we continue organizing events, and as we're not able to do events in person at the moment, we will do them virtually, and I will show you our virtual platform later on. So we will organize international trade fairs, congresses, technological showrooms, B2B meetings, investment forums. And on the other hand, we continue with our actions that we have been carrying out in Secpho already, always kind of behind the scenes, and the members know them very well, but from the outside, it's difficult to see. So we continue promoting technological challenges and helping them to find solutions for them. We continue our international networking and matchmaking with all our partners. We continue with innovation workshops. We will offer product launches in our virtual platform, deep tech meetings, startup pitching sessions, and as I mentioned as well, deep tech trainings, right, in order to help corporates and investors gain a better understanding of the deep technologies. And here just to summarize, so it's our formula consists of tech transfer and innovation workshops, of international connection, of access to funding, of the connection with the industry, collaborative projects, of the Open Innovation Club, visibility and positioning, and our innovative virtual platform secpholand. And just as we have so many international partners here with us today, I also wanted to stress that point out again, that we really have a large network of international partners all over the world. You can see them here marked. And we are always looking for collaboration partners, and are really open to this, and want to help boosting the technological innovation, not only in Spain, but also outside. And we think if we join forces, we will be faster and stronger. And what do we do that for? What's our mission behind all this, right? Our mission is to transform. We want to transform the future, but also not only the future, we want to transform the present, the now. And that means we have already started doing this, because all these technologies have such a transversal effect, right, on the different application areas and the different innovation trends that we're seeing nowadays. So like Industry 4.0, health and well-being, smart cities, food security, smart mobility, climate action and environment, agriculture, forests and oceans, sustainable energy, new space, defense and securities. All these application areas, and I'm sure there are others as well, are already benefiting from the great potential of deep tech. And they can really revolutionize these application areas. And as Sarah had already explained earlier, deep tech can also help to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, as we could see a very good example with the pandemic over the past year, how deep tech could help to prevent the virus from a further spread, to diagnose the virus and to create the vaccination and so on. And there are many more ways in order to tackle the Sustainable Development Goals. And I really would like to invite you to have a look at our We Transform webpage on the website and look at some of the success stories from our members as well, to get a better idea what it is all about. And let's have a little closer look on our events that we are organizing throughout the upcoming months. So as I already mentioned, we will organize exhibition and congresses, industrial showrooms, international congresses, investor sessions, workshops on industrial challenges, technology webinars, inspirational breakfasts. And we will, all these events will cover different technology and application areas, like new space, aeronautics, food industry, artificial intelligence, laser systems, logistics, deep tech investment, automotive, robotics and drones, healthcare, smart cities, and quantum. So let's check out our agenda. At the end of April, we will organize the International Congress for Artificial Intelligence. At the end of May, we are organizing the Smart Agri-Food Industry Expo. We will organize a deep tech investors training at the beginning of June. And the technological showroom, Hangar 21 Tech Show. We will organize a future outdoor expo, an investors day in October, the Smart City Expo as well in October, the International Congress on Robotics and Drones in November, and the Quantum Technologies Congress in December. So as you can see, it's a very dynamic and exciting agenda already, but as always, we like to improvise, and sometimes it's hard for us because we get so motivated, right, by new opportunities coming up, so we can't stop and come up with new events along the way. So you will probably see some further additional events in our agenda over the upcoming months. And now let's come to our little preview of Secpholand. As I mentioned, it will be launched next month to our ecosystem. And Secpholand is kind of a mix of all the best characteristics from these tools. So from LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Zoom, and B2Match. What Secpholand will be about, it will be a professional network to enhance collaboration between members of the ecosystem. On the other hand, it will serve as a virtual event platform to enhance the visibility of Secpho's ecosystem members and all the invitees and partners at international level. So let's have a closer look. Secpholand will be about connecting people. That means you can look for contacts. There will be artificial intelligence behind, so according to the interests and also technological expertise of every user, there will be other contacts suggested to you, right? There will be a B2B meeting scheduling software integrated and a chat via voice and text. Then you can attend virtual events in Secpholand. There's an auditorium, exhibition halls, workshop rooms, B2B meeting rooms, industrial environments, and our own Secpholand area, where we can also come up with kind of virtual open air events, have a cafeteria for inspirational talks and networking events and so on. There is a connection with market, so we will continue working on the industrial challenges inside of Secpholand, but not only publishing and sharing the industrial challenges with our members, as we have been done for the past years. It's also about showing who else is interested in these challenges and really help them to connect between each other and start creating these and generating these collaborative projects. It's also about international connections. There's a job board, and we want to connect with funding, of course. So we will have a virtual investment forum with offices for the investors that are part of the Secpho investment program. And we will organize pitching sessions for startups. There will be a podcast library in the investment forum in order to give visibility to these inspiring podcasts from different VCs or startups from our ecosystem. And yeah, it's about being up to date with the deep tech innovations. So there will be a library of the tech innovation webinars, and there will be also different project areas. So we can present all the projects that are being developed in the deep tech ecosystem in different places all over Secpholand. So as you can see, it's really about networking, about collaborating, and helping this ecosystem to grow, right? And I wanted to mention as well that this is really something that we didn't start creating Secpholand because of the pandemic. We started creating Secpholand already way back at the end of 2019. And when the pandemic hit us, we really saw the need and the even bigger potential for it now. But the main idea behind Secpholand is really to connect the people behind this that are part of the deep tech ecosystem, right? And to help connect someone from northern Spain with someone from Madrid, with researchers in Barcelona, and also all our partners and experts from abroad, right? So this is really what Secpholand is about for us. Here you can see the main area of Secpholand. So you can see a train station, you can see the cafeteria for networking events that I mentioned, you can see our auditorium, you can see the meetings center, our investment forum, and these are some images. So of our auditorium on the right, on the left-hand top, of our workshop room, of smaller private meeting rooms, of our technological showroom where we show an airplane inside of a hangar, and we can adapt and create as many industrial showrooms as we want in hospital, logistical showrooms, and so on, to really help give visibility to these different technology areas. So this is me in one of our exhibition halls of our future virtual fairs. This fair doesn't exist, it's just kind of mock up in order to show you how it could look like. And yeah, we can just move around by using the mouse, so you don't need a joystick or anything in order to use Secpholand. No worries, it's very easy. And yeah, I wanted to show you one of our stands, for instance. So here you can then actually click on the counter, you can leave your business card. There's Sergio with us as well. So I can say hi to Sergio, I can look at his personal profile, at his company profile, I can give him a call, can write him a message. And I could also say, hey Sergio, let's go and have a meeting here at the stand, right? So it's really about trying to have these kind of face-to-face opportunities again that we are missing, and as we can't always travel around. And you will also be able to see, to present the products at the stand, to really individualize everything. You can show different videos and about your products on the screens. Everything is really clickable, and it really gives you a great idea to yeah, we have some other team members with us here, to how such a Secpholand virtual fair could look like. And as I mentioned, there will be other areas where you can where you will be able to connect with other technology players and ecosystem players, right? Here you could, for instance, present some posters in this area. And as we saw earlier, I can also have a look at it from the top and say, yes, I'd like to go to the B2B area because I have a meeting there, and I've scheduled a meeting with an investor. So then I just go down to table, and as soon as I enter, and sit down at that table, I will be in a call with the other people sitting at that table. So we really wanted to make it as personal as possible and step away a little bit from this virtual distance that we are all experiencing. And yes, I don't want to entertain you any longer. That's really what I wanted to explain. I'm gonna go back to Zoom now. What I really wanted to show you is that this will be a great platform for us to use over the upcoming months and years, and we really invite you all to explore it from the next month on. And I don't know if there are any questions. I don't see any questions. So if you want to comment anything or ask me anything, I'm happy for you to send your questions to my email. You all have my contact details. Secpholand sounds a very good idea. I just read a comment. Are you aiming to host meetings as well as organizing your own? Yeah, we're definitely looking into this option as well, to host meetings. Of course, for us, it will be important that these meetings do also offer an added value for our ecosystem members. So we will always look into this, but that is definitely an option as well. And yeah, Sergio is writing something as well. Yes, if you have further questions, please let me know. You can contact me in LinkedIn. You all have my email address. Yeah, for now, I just share again our video, and I wish you a great rest of the day. Thanks again to Eden and Sarah from Hello Tomorrow and the Deep Tech community to join us today. And thanks again to all the participants today that you were here with us. We are really looking forward to collaborating with you in future. Thank you.